Describe your elaborate plan to take over the world.
The most important thing, I think, in getting this whole ball rolling towards world domination is money. You need money to get started. Like, that's, no matter what you're doing, you're going to need some cash to actually, get the wheels turning.
That is true.
So for the rest of my plan, it's going to be really beneficial to have inroads with like tech companies in Silicon Valley and stuff. So I'm going to say the best thing to, get going on your world domination plan is to like make a tech startup, sell it, get paid.
Yeah, and this may seem like a bold assumption, but at the same time, something needs to go very right if you're going to take over the world.
Right.
Like, it's...
Yeah.
And you may be asking, what kind of startup should it be? And I'm going to level with you. If I had the answer to that, I would probably not be doing this podcast right now.
Unless it is podcasting and
Unless
Ben's trying to keep the
is
field
podcasting.
clear.
That is
Don't
possible.
you all start making podcasts.
So in general, I think, once you have this, you've made the company, sold off, I think in general, you're going to start doing some pretty like esoteric shit. So I think in general, you're going to want to make this real, cultivate this sort of eccentric tech genius personality. So people don't really question like the things you do, You want to kind of just be like, oh, that's one of those guys that just has a lot of money and throws it around and just does weird tech stuff. So when you start doing all these weird things, people won't like start getting suspicious.
You're basically the evil Batman.
Pretty much, yeah. So one of the biggest problems with taking over the world is that it's really hard. You have a lot of like build up and everything going on to get to that point. And getting to that point, and also during like the actual overthrowing portion, it's really hard to get enough loyal people to actually like follow through with the plan. So the solution is death robots. Not necessarily just death robots, but robots in general. It's just gonna be a lot easier if if you're like, there'll obviously be people involved as well, but that way you keep your number of people in the loop smaller, because loose lips sink ships, as you know. So death robots will be involved because you are going to be doing that whole overthrow society thing at some point, and death robots help with that. But also just in general, more general purpose robots for, getting everything ramped up and everything will be useful. So just general robotics is an area you're going to start going into, but it's kind of hard to go straight into robotics. And really, when it comes to like the death robots in particular, you're really going to have to do some really good work on like computer vision and stuff like that, because you need to be able to identify the people that the death robots should and should not be killing, So I think sort of the place where this large scale manufacturing and like computer vision and stuff sort of meets is like autonomous cars. And this is great because this is an area that's, a big tech thing already, and you can get in there and it'll help you build up more funds. And, you can do all this testing of basically just robots, without people being suspicious. You get some factories going that you can convert to other purposes eventually. It just gets all your infrastructure nice, legitimate reason to have it,
I mean, who knows? Maybe Google is actually doing this right now with their
could be
auto-driving cars.
Could be. So the one problem you're going to hit, when trying to overthrow society with death robots and whatnot, is that obviously robots have to be powered. So I think you can't just use like traditional electricity necessarily always. I think another area you're going to have to go into, in your eccentric tech billionaire persona, is start really doing some pushing on like solar power and like batteries, because that way, even if, when you flip the switch and start taking over, if they, cut off power to you, you still have, a way to get your power, and you have a bunch of power stored up. I think that's going to be just a way to sort of, stop getting short-circuited, literally, kind of, as your plan is really ramping up, So I think, start once again, pushing your money into developing, solar power, battery, stuff like that. And then, when we actually get to this point where you are overthrowing society, I think it probably makes a lot of sense to not necessarily actually be just on the planet when it happens. Just because people are obviously, when it starts going down, when your autonomous cars start flipping out, guns and stuff, and it's going to be pretty obvious who is behind all of this. All the pieces will come together for people.
I mean, you don't have to put your company logo on the death robots.
But I guess you could. But I mean, the branding opportunities, like you want people to know who's in control.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
It's very.
Well,
they're
going to be branded. Like all cars are branded.
Exactly.
Well,
people like the death
good
robots,
publicity.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you just make them all death robots?
Well, that's why I think is that actually your cars will eventually, maybe not at first, but eventually you start hiding the death robots basically inside of the cars just to get them out there.
Ben, you're missing a very obvious solution.
What is my obvious solution?
The cars are the death robots.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, totally. Not at first, because you want to get out there and get the trust out there. But eventually, yes, I agree. But yeah, so you definitely, when everything's actually going down, you want to make sure you're secure. So I see you have two options here. One is to go to space, maybe to another planet, maybe just up to like a satellite or something. But I think you want to start, putting money into like private space flight and stuff, just to make sure that you have that option available to you. The other possibility is like an underground bunker or something. And I think that it's not with your crazy tech billionaire persona, you could totally come up with some excuse to start, digging tunnels or something. And I think Marcus has just realized what I'm doing right now.
No, I do.
I hate you so much.
I think you can figure out some excuse to start digging tunnels and getting some infrastructure down there. And what I'm going to say now is that I am just describing Elon Musk. 100% everything I describe is things that Elon Musk has done. I am not saying that Elon Musk is planning to take over the world. However, I am saying that it is a very legitimate strategy that he is currently doing.
Ben, do you want to take 5 seconds to talk about Elon Musk's stupid tunnels? Because all the other stuff are his big things, but this one might be lost
This
by
one
the
is
wayside.
a little bit new, yeah. And this one, there was an article that I actually shared in another group chat with that Marcus is in, like, before we started recording, and I was afraid that would, like, blow my cover. By the way, when did you guys start realizing it? Was it at the tunnels?
It was at the space for me.
The
When you
space?
said going
Okay.
into space.
Yeah.
I was barely paying attention, so I waited for the tunnels.
Fair enough. Basically, Elon Musk has made a system where he wants to make a really packed subway system that only works with a Tesla car. Where, like, you drive your car into this underground tunnel, and then it, like, drives on rails like a fucking Disneyland ride at, like, 50 miles an hour until it gets to where it's going. Which seems super dumb and pointless.
Oh, does it go up to 50? I read it goes 25 to 30 miles an hour.
That's hilarious. I think they were saying, the one I saw like 53, which is still not great. And doing the, like, 4-kilometer loop they already did cost like $10 million or something. And apparently felt like driving on a dirt road. So, it's a bad idea, Elon. I don't know what you're thinking, but maybe that's just part of your plan. Who knows? So,
Look, he has to have some sort of excuse that doesn't sound evil.
exactly. In summary, be Elon Musk, and then eventually flip the switch and take over the world.